Hey guys, so I'm kind of halfway through making this necklace, as you can see, and I just thought that I'll kind of do like a little walkthrough for how you can get this done as well. So for the materials, what you're going to need are some flat nose pliers like this. You'll need some round nose pliers, and you'll also need some cutters to cut your wire, obviously. And the type of wire that I'm using, it just comes like this on a spool, and I'm not sure if you can see it, but it's a squared wire. It's probably about, I'd say 0.6 or 0.7 millimeters, but you can really use whatever you want. And then you need some foam, some of these little pins, a piece of paper obviously, and then just a piece of thread, and that'll just make sure that you're not wasting a whole lot of wire. So how I go about making these kinds of pendants is I always just draw out the shape that I want to make. So for this infinite heart, I just started with like a regular heart shape, and then I just added in this design here. And then what you want to do is you want to figure out a way of how you can have this shape with just like one continuous piece of wire. So for me, it's gonna run along like this, then up into this curve and finish around here. And because I'm not putting any kind of loops like this for like eye pins or any kind of ways to tie it, what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to get the ends and bend them around these pieces here and here so that there's no like ends. And then what I can do is I can just attach the chain directly on the sides without making these kind of weird loops. So once you have the design done, what I always do is I take some just plain like string, whatever you have, and I put a knot at the end. And then I use these pins and some foam, and I use foam just so I don't like pierce my desk. And what I do is I just kind of put pins in at the most like obvious kind of turn points. So these would just be like the kind of locations, and obviously this is a straight point here, so you don't really need a pin in there. And then I just kind of take my wire or my thread, and I just very gently, you don't want to pull very tightly on this, but very gently just lay the string around, and you want to go around the entire shape following the way you're going to bend the wire, because then what you can do is you can take the thread off from your shape and you can just put it against a ruler or something like that. So mine came out to be about 7 inches for this entire shape. And then what I did was I added a little bit on either side, so in total I cut my wire to a length of 8.5 inches, because you always want to have more than less. And that way I'm ready to go ahead and start bending this. So just before I start bending my wire, what I do is I take some tape and I just tape this piece with the design onto my working surface. And then you want to go ahead and take your wire and lay it down against your shape. And as you can see here, sorry for the bad lighting as well, what I did was, even though my necklace starts over here, I added maybe 1/2 inch of extra wire outside here for the loop. And then all you need to do is just take your piece here and start using your pliers to very gently like bend the wire around, and you want to make sure that you follow the shape of your design. So I'm just going to go ahead and do another little bit, and I'll show you how that goes. What you also might notice that happens is as you're playing with the wire, as you can see there's a kind of raised bit here. So every now and then you just want to take it like so, and you can see that this piece here kind of comes upwards. So just bend it down, and you just want to make sure that your wire lies as flat on your surface as possible. So as you can see there, that looks much better. So when you have that done, just go ahead around and finish shaping your wire. So as you can see, this is what my finished product look like, and if I move it, you can see that it's practically identical to the design. And this might take a little bit of practice for you to get it the right shape that you want it to be, but my advice would be that when you're bending the wire, you want to make sure that you make very tiny folds or bends, because it's better for the wire that you bend it a few times in one direction than if you bend it like back and forth, because if you bend the wire back and forth, what that does is it hardens the spot where it's being bent at, and it gets to a point where it's so fragile that it actually breaks off. So if you bend the wire back and forth too much, what you'll end up happening is that your entire pendant will break. So just do it a little bit at a time and get it to the shape that you like. And if you're not very comfortable with wire, then maybe practice with some scrap beads first. So anyway, when you have that done, all you're going to do is just wrap these pieces around here and here, and then you'll be finished. So as you can see, here's what my final pendant looks like. And I had a little bit of wire left over on the bottom after I wrapped it, so I just made a little loop like this, and then you can attach any kind of bead or tassel or a feather even, or whatever you want. And then to make it into a necklace, all you're going to need will be 2 little jump rings. And then what I did was I took a necklace that I had with a closure here, and I just cut mine in half. As you can see, it has 2 bits there. And then I'm just going to attach each end to either side. So here's what the whole thing looks like. So I hope you enjoyed this little walkthrough or tutorial, and thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you soon. Bye guys!